Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation x to the power of x times y to the power of y is equal to 8 times x to the power of y times y to the power of x. So, at first glance, this might seem like an impossible problem. Like, there's so many exponents, different combinations of variables, it looks really challenging. But I have the solution for this. So we want to find the values of x and y. So to do that, let me write my equation over here. X to the power of x times y to the power of y is equal to x times 8 times x to the power of y times y to the power of x. So to solve this, I'm going to start by dividing both sides by y to the power of x times x to the power of y. So for my right hand side, these two cancel out and these two cancel out, and I'm left with x to the power of x times y to the power of y over y to the power of x times x to the power of y is equal to 8. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m over b to the power of m, this is equal to a over b to the power of m. So in this case, what I'm going to do is match two terms with the same exponents. So x to the power of x over y to the power of x turns into x over y to the power of x. And y to the power of y over x to the power of y turns into y over x to the power of y. And this is all equal to 8. Now from here, notice how x over y and y over x are reciprocals of each other, meaning their numerators and denominators are flipped. So what I'm going to do is rewrite y over x as x over y to the power of negative 1. Because any number to the power of negative 1 is that same number flipped. And now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So basically, these two multiply, and I get x over y to the power of x times x over y to the power of negative y is equal to 8. And now, these two have the same bases. So, because they have the same bases, I can multiply them. So if I have something in the form a to the power of m times a to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m plus n. So these two exponents are going to add up, and I get x over y to the power of x minus y. X plus negative y is x minus y, and this is all equal to 8. So now our equation is much more simplified. And I have a couple cases to solving this equation. So for case 1, what I'm going to do is rewrite 8 here as 8 over 1. And this is the same thing as 8 over 1 to the power of 1. So now if x minus y is equal to 1, then this means that x over y is equal to 8 over 1. So, because these two match. So that means, in this case, to solve this, this right here, if I cross multiply, turns into x is equal to 8y. So we're going to keep this in mind, and then we're going to go to case 2. So for case 2, I have x over y to the power of x minus y is equal to, again, 8 over 1 to the power of 1. But this time, I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 8 to the power of negative 1, which is the same thing as 8 over 1 to the power of 1. And now, this means that x over y, if I have x over y to the power of 1 over, is equal to 1 over 8, this means that x minus y is equal to negative 1. And if I cross multiply, ax is equal to y. So x minus ax is equal to negative 1. Now I'm going to move on to my third case, case 3. And I have the same thing, x over y to the power of x minus y is equal to 8. But this time, I'm going to rewrite 8 as 2 to the power of 3. And 2 to the power of 3 is the same thing as 2 over 1 to the power of 3, because any number divided by 1 is itself. So now, I have x over y is equal to 2 over 1, and x minus y is equal to 3. And if I cross multiply, I get x is equal to 2y, and 2y minus y is equal to 3. So, in this case, now we're going to move on to case 4. And in this case, x over y to the power of x minus y is equal to 8 again, but this time, again, we're changing to 2 to the power of 3, which is 2 over 1 to the power of 3. And this time I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over 2 to the power of negative 3. So I get x over y is equal to 1/2, making these two equal, and x minus y is equal to negative 3, making these two equal. This means that 2x is equal to y, and x minus 2x is equal to negative 3. So now I'm going to go back and solve all of these. So going back to my first case over here, I have 7y is equal to 1. So I have x is equal to 8y and 7y is equal to 1. So this means that y is equal to 1 over 7 over here. And if y is equal to 1 over 7, then if I plug this in over here, I get x is equal to 8 over 7. So if you actually plug this in, to here, this is actually rejected. So this case is rejected. Now going to case 2, I have ax is equal to y, and x minus ax is equal to negative 1. So for x minus 8x equals negative 1, this means that I have negative 7x is equal to negative 1, meaning x is equal to 1 over 7. And when x equals 1 over 7, y is equal to 8 over 7. So this is just this case 1 but flipped. And if you plug this in, this is also rejected. Now for case 3, I get y is equal to 3. And if y equals 3, x is equal to 6. And this is actually accepted, because if you go over here, if I plug in 6, or sorry, we can actually just check using our equation over here. So when x equals 6 and y equals 3, I get 6 to the power of 6 times 3 to the power of 3 is equal to 8 times 6 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 6. So we can be smart by this by first dividing both sides by 3 to the power of 3. And dividing both sides by 6 to the power of 3. So I have 6 to the power of 3 is equal to 8 times 3 to the power of 3, because these two subtract and these two subtract. Now 6 to the power of 6 is 6 to the power of 3, is 216. And I have this times is equal to 8 times 27, which is also 216. So these two are true, so that solution is accepted. X equals 6 and y is equal to 3. Now I'm going to solve this. So in this case, I get negative x is equal to negative 3, meaning x equals 3. And if x equals 3, y is equal to 6. So this is just the same thing, but flipped. And when you actually plug this in, I'm not going to waste your time by doing all that, this is also true. So my two solutions are x equals 6, or we could just write this as coordinates, 6, 3, and 3, 6. So these are my two solutions.